What's going on YouTube? Sean here, and welcome to day number 24 of the Godzilla Rewatch. And in today's video, we're going to be beginning our journey through the Millennium series with the movie Godzilla 2000. Okay, so this is an interesting film in the Godzilla franchise because it was basically like okay, shit, they really messed things up with Godzilla 1998. Let's quickly follow back with Godzilla 2000 Millennium, right away. Toho, immediately, the next year released this film. It's okay, we can't have that be the Godzilla that's out there. We gotta change this shit. We gotta do an audible. We gotta make up for this shit right now. And this one actually did get a theatrical release stateside. And I remember when it was coming out, and I really wanted to see it, but of course nobody would take Sean to the movies. Ever. Fucking A. The first movie I think I ever saw in theaters might have been Phantom Menace or something, but yeah, it was such bullshit. I didn't get the chance to see this one. But looking back on it now, Godzilla 2000 it's a pretty lesser Godzilla film for me. No matter, I liked it when I was younger, but watching it now, I just really can't get into this one all that much. It's just kind of okay to mediocre. Really, the next two Godzilla films are pretty okay to mediocre. The Millennium series didn't really start out on a high note, at least for me in particular. Godzilla 2000, the best things about this movie, well, Godzilla's in it. He looks closer to his Toho design, although I don't like this Godzilla suit. I don't know, the face looks ugly. The spines are just too bulky for me. He just doesn't look visually all that appealing. Like this one and the Megaguirus one, it just doesn't look like a real creature. It looks so plasticky and I know it's a man in a suit, but it doesn't feel organic. It just looks off. It just looks ugly. I really just think most of the Millennium suits, for the most part, this kind of design, it's just an ugly look for Godzilla. The one after this, Megaguirus, it's the same thing. However, GMK's design was actually pretty good, so I like what they did with GMK's Godzilla suit. But this one, yeah, it's just an ugly looking Godzilla. It's better than Zilla. It's more faithful. But I just don't like this design of Godzilla. I really, really am not a huge fan of it. And maybe it's because his mouth kind of spreads up. It's just the face. The face looks off to me. I really don't find this design all that appealing. But the cool things about this film, there is another monster in there, which was a nice surprise. At first, it's just this UFO that's been trapped in Earth for 60 million years that just wakes up out of the blue. A lot of people pointed this out, that when it's flying through the air, it looks like a giant piece of poop. And yes, it does look like that. Then it gradually turns into what you'd expect kind of a UFO to look like. And then from there we get Godzilla fights the thing towards the end. Really not much is the English dub is pretty cheesy and hokey. Although it was cool to see a classic Toho base Godzilla film on the big screen, I guess, for people stateside. It was nice to see this one come out. And yeah, I remember renting it and loving it when I was little, but like I said, that was when I was little. Me watching it now, I'm just this one and Megaguirus, they're just not doing anything for me all that much. But yeah, this one in general, like I said, Godzilla's cool. The new monster, Orga, I absolutely love. When I first saw this, I'm Orga was my big takeaway, I think, in terms of, Kaiju was one of my personal favorites to play as in the Godzilla Save the Earth video game. Orga was what made that video game for me. There's a lot of monsters, Space Godzilla's up there too, but Orga was one of my favorites to play as, especially when you did that little tournament melee-style brawl. He definitely really elevated it for me in terms of that. He was my favorite to play as in, those type of, missions. But overall, like I said, there are some good things in this movie. Human characters, the best one overall is this real asshole named Katagiri. He's such a piece of shit. The main actor in the movie, it's not Katagiri, the main human dude's got, his daughter who works for, this Godzilla research team. There's one part where this dude gets trapped in this building, and the girl's my daddy's still in there. They're oh, Katagiri, hold off the detonation from blowing up the building, because the UFO thing is trying to steal all this information about Godzilla. And he's proceed as planned, as scheduled, or whatever. And I'm what an asshole. This guy is such a piece of shit that I absolutely love him. And the best moment of this entire movie is where he's just they're trying to get him out of there, and then he's just I've never seen Godzilla this far up close before. Then Godzilla comes right up to him. The camera pans into him, and he goes, Godzilla! And Godzilla just murders him straight up right there. It's by far the best moment in this movie. It's hilarious. I absolutely love that moment in Godzilla 2000. The final battle between Godzilla and Orga, it's okay. Orga kind of evolves over it. At one point, he tries to eat Godzilla. And if you just kind of like stumbled into the movie at that point, it's like Orga kind of just starts to turn into Godzilla, which is kind of neat. But yeah, that's kind of neat too. And then Godzilla and him, like, they get into a little battle. He tries to eat him. Then Godzilla just blasts him from the inside with his atomic breath. And kaboom, there goes Orga. And it is a pretty satisfying ending. And then the end of the film kind of has Godzilla eviscerating the city. And that's pretty much it. This is, like, not really a sequel to anything. It's kind of like... it's kind of in its own continuity. I guess the original happened. But the thing with the Millennium series is what they would do for a lot of their films is they'd have a movie... Then they'd have, like, just a film that's, like, a direct sequel to the original. And then the next one would be a direct sequel to the original. Or just kind of, like, having its own weird continuity. I feel like the Millennium series I consider more like an Elseworlds type story. Where, like, every movie was kind of in its own universe. Like, it was just a bunch of people tackling different Elseworlds and alternate takes on Godzilla. Just kind of doing their own thing. Like, okay, we'll do one kind of like this. Or we'll do one kind of like this. Or we'll move to the next one, which is GMK. Oh, we'll have this one and then a direct sequel. It's kind of just bizarre with the Millennium series. So there wasn't a sense of clear continuity like there was with the Heisei era of Godzilla films. Even though this one, would you technically consider it a Heisei film if it was like 1999? I don't know. That's just me, but... Overall consensus, Godzilla 2000 is one of my least favorite overall Godzilla films. It's just kind of like it's not the worst one in the series. I just like, even when I rewatch it, I just can't really get into this one as much as I hoped. So that's just my thoughts. Like I said, human element it just really just drags at certain points for me. Like the CGI does not help at all. The CGI looks like garbage. Like there's an appeal to me with like little models and little practical effects at times, but man, sometimes even I have my limits in terms of special effects. So yeah, this one's kind of like a more mixed to like so-so okay type movie for me. It's better than Godzilla 1998, but that's not really saying all that much. So yep, that's all I got to say about Godzilla 2000. Like I said, it's one of my least favorite in the franchise. I just can't find myself really getting into this one all that much. So, yep, that's all I'm going to say for that. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of Godzilla 2000. Do you like this movie? Do you dislike it? Let me know so we can chat about it some more. Be sure to hit that bell for notifications and hit the subscribe button. And come back tomorrow as we talk about Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Yeah, that should be fun to do. So, anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye then. I'll see you next time. Great, Caesar's ghost! And that line of the English dub cracks me up, so I'll give that props too. But yeah, check it out tomorrow. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Boom.